Hey everybody, welcome back to Ash Ton of Sports. I have a guest for you today. I am interviewing Tyler Davison from the Atlanta Falcons. He is a D tackle or a D tackle, right?
Yep, D tackle.
Okay, right, D tackle. So a little bit of quick information about Tyler Davison. He actually went to Desert Mountain High School in Scottsdale, Arizona. He ended up going to Fresno State for college and was drafted by the Saints in the fifth round of the 2015 draft. He was with the Saints till 2018 and is now currently with the Falcons. And so here we go with the interview. So how's the league going so far? With your obviously you guys had your first game um,
Mm-hmm.
against Seattle. Unfortunately, you guys lost. But how was it playing uh, the first game back with COVID and everything like that?
It's definitely been a different season, that's for sure. A whole bunch of protocols, a lot of stuff that's different this year with coronavirus, obviously. But I'm just glad that we're playing. A lot of people thought that we wouldn't make it to this first game, especially on time.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm glad we're in the position we are. We haven't had too many setbacks because of COVID. So, it's good. It's going good so far. I think we're on the right track right now. So just
Yeah,
as long as everything keeps going smooth.
yeah, that's awesome. So with COVID, and people weren't
hmm
really sure if we were even going to be able to play. What are some of the things that are different from like last year to this year? Obviously, like there's no fans in the stadium and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah.
what are some of the things that they have like implemented in order to be able to let you guys play?
There's been a lot. The NFL PA had to have a lot of, negotiations with the owners and stuff just to get our season going. So, for player safety, for, fans, everybody. So, right off the bat, we didn't have OTAs this year, was a big part of our off-season training. So we didn't have that. Um, and then, when we started camp, we we all had to. So the first thing we had to do when we started camp was we had to do 4 days, I believe, of COVID testing just to make sure everybody was in the clear.
Okay.
And then after that, we were finally able to report to the facility. Before that, we weren't even allowed in.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so that was a little, a little, a little crazy just to start everything off. And then, all throughout camp, we've had to get tested every single day. Um, I'm sure you've seen those trackers we have to wear.
Yep, I have.
Um,
Actually, that's funny you say that because I watch obviously a lot of YouTube about it and have
hmm
watched a guy named Michael Pittman. Watched his
Yep,
YouTube
yep,
and he was showing that you have to wear trackers and it doesn't track where you are technically, but like it just tells you if you're too close to somebody. And
exactly.
then I also saw that they put like plexiglass up in between everybody's locker.
Yeah,
And then
so
that's about it from what I understood.
so we're actually lucky in Atlanta. We have dorms on our facility. So a lot of teams don't have this, but
Yeah.
Arthur Blank, when they built the facility, our owner Arthur Blank put up dorms, which are basically apartments.
Okay.
And so we right now we each get a dorm room and we
Okay.
use that as our locker.
Okay.
So we don't even really use the locker room right
That's
now like
super
that.
nice. That's
It's
super
nice, it's
nice.
nice, but also weird at the same
Oh, I
time.
believe
You
it.
know what I
I
mean?
believe it.
Like the locker room is like the gathering area of the team.
Definitely believe that.
Um, and we're not even in there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But it's also nice because a lot of teams don't have that. You know what I mean? A lot of teams don't have that
Mhm.
own their own space like that to use.
Yeah.
But yeah, like in the stadium and stuff, we have like a curtain basically in
Yeah.
between each locker.
Okay.
So it's definitely different. And yeah, like I said, like you were talking about, we've got to wear those trackers every single day. And it basically monitors if you're next to somebody for too long.
Okay.
And then if somebody that you were next to for too long gets COVID, then you also have to be quarantined
All right.
since you were next to them for so long.
That makes sense. Okay.
So yeah, so coaches and staff are constantly trying to monitor and find ways that we can be separated for long enough that we don't, end up being next to each other for
Yeah.
too long, that it gets registered on the system,
Okay.
and then, a bunch of people have to be quarantined if somebody gets coronavirus.
Okay. Okay. So you said that obviously there was no OTAs this season.
Yeah.
So what did you do personally to like make sure you were ready for if they did start football? And in this case, they did. Anything like
Hmm.
nutritionally or like physically that you had to make sure that you did since there was no OTAs?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It was actually a little bit nice in some ways because it was a little bit more of a rest on your body.
Yeah.
OTAs it's not, camp or anything like that, but
Mm-hmm.
it still is strenuous on your body. So it was a bit of a break, but at the same time, you have to make sure you're in shape. You have to make sure you're ready to go. So it's like a little bit of a blend of those two things of really making, utilizing that extra time off to, have your body in shape and recovered,
Yeah.
but making sure that you can, tailor that time to yourself and what your individual needs are. So, me personally, just, being in good condition, making sure my cardio is good. I did lots of workouts
Yeah.
with weights, you know what I mean? Lots of workouts on the field. Um, really practicing I'm a defensive tackle, so, those are very specific movements
Mm-hmm.
and things that I do as a defensive tackle, that I had to make sure I went out and did on the field,
Yeah.
every week, multiple times a week, make sure I had those things down for when we finally did report. And nutritionally, I'd say, a lot of Uber Eats, a lot of
Yeah.
Grubhub, trying to find healthy places. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Luckily, my girlfriend's a great cook.
Yeah.
Um, and she made, a lot of very nutritious meals over that time. So
That's awesome.
it was a challenge, but it was also nice. There's a lot of positives in it as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely sounds like it was different from last year. Obviously
Definitely
with COVID.
different.
Uh,
Definitely
so
different.
so with that, now do you guys have to do you guys get to go home since of COVID? Do you guys get to go home or
Hmm.
do you guys have to stay at a certain place like they're doing with the NBA bubble? Like they don't get to go and see other people, or do you guys have it
Yeah.
regimented differently?
No, luckily we're not doing the NBA bubble. That would have been very difficult on a lot of guys, I
Yeah.
think, being away from their family for, 6 months or however long.
Mhm.
So luckily, we do get to go home every day. And we're actually home a little bit more this year because usually during camp you have to stay, either at a team hotel
Yeah.
or in our scenario at the team dorms.
Mhm.
But this year, with everything that's going on, we just, went home at night instead. Um, so it was kind of nice. It was kind of nice, actually. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think we spent a little bit more time at home this year.
Okay. That's nice. So like going into the next one, what like so obviously we talked about the protocols. We talked about what's different from last year to this year. What was it like not playing in front of fans yesterday?
It was a little weird. It was a little weird. Um, it was definitely, a little bit quiet, but it wasn't bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd say that, if you're, as a football player, you spend the bulk of your time playing football at practice,
Yeah.
and at practice, you don't have fans there.
Mhm.
It's so it almost felt like a glorified scrimmage to some
Okay.
degree. Um, but it didn't change our approach to the game. It didn't change, our energy levels. I do feel like the fans bring that extra energy,
Yes, they definitely do.
and I do think that we all feed off of that.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, I think that we had to, sort of bring our own energy, um, up a notch. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Make sure that we brought our own juice.
I totally feel that.
But
I totally feel that. Like when I think of
yeah.
teams that have uh a sports fans that are like you don't
Mhm.
want to play in, it's Atlanta and Seattle, and you guys obviously faced each other this week, and there was no
Mhm.
fans there,
Mhm.
so I just it
Yeah.
watching it, it felt more like I was watching like a high school football game that was on TV, or a
Yeah.
little bit like of an
Yeah.
arena football game, just because like it just didn't feel
Mhm.
normal Like it just felt weird.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
with them also being able to put in sound into the TV, like it helped a little bit. But it
Mhm.
was just weird every time they'd pan around the stadium and it's like, oh,
There's nobody
there's
there.
cardboard cutouts. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, like
Yep. It's
it
not the
just looked a
same.
little
It's not the
funny,
same.
but yeah.
Mhm.
Um.
But it wasn't a big deal at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I do think sometimes it gives you goosebumps or gives you that extra that extra energy when you hear all
Yeah.
those people screaming and cheering and stuff. Um, but being a professional football player, you've got to know how to pump yourself up and get your mind right and
Yeah.
play and be ready to ball out no matter what.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So.
Definitely feel that one. Yep. So you guys obviously played Seattle yesterday. What's it like
Hmm.
playing as a defensive tackle and going up against superstar quarterbacks like Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson's a beast, man. He's a good quarterback. Um, in each quarterback you go against like that, you've got to have a specific game plan tailored to
Yeah.
them. You
Yep.
know what I mean? And Russ, he's obviously known as a good scrambler.
Yes.
So, with that being said, you can't just be
Laxy Daisy.
rushing and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, rushing and taking all kinds of crazy lanes to the quarterback because then, if your rush doesn't work, then it gives him space to scramble around
Yep.
and when Russ scrambles around, he's at his best. So
Yes, he really is.
he is. So you have to just make sure that you're not giving him those big lanes to run
Mhm.
through and he's kind of short too, so you don't want to give him big windows to throw through and look through. Um, so each guy, there's their little quirks and things that you have to be ready for
Yeah.
and kind of adjust to.
Mhm. So with playing this Sunday, what was it like for halftimes with going back to the locker rooms?
Halftime seemed pretty normal,
It's
relative
relatively normal.
relative to everything else. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Halftime was one of the things that felt, semi normal. We just went back to the locker room and did what we usually do. Talk about what happened in that first half, what adjustments we need to do, what
Mhm.
adjustments we need to make.
Yeah.
And you came back out and we played the second half. So
Yeah.
the halftime was pretty similar to how it usually is.
Okay. That's okay. Now I'm just looking over my questions real quick, trying to figure out what one's next, kind of. So I guess the
I
next one
feel
would
you.
be like, what's like an individual goal that you usually set for like a season, or in particularly this season, that you usually want to try to stride for.
Individually, there's usually a few different types of goals. There's more of like those qualitative goals. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like how I want to play. What, for example, I always want to make sure I have good technique. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a being in the league, it comes to everybody's talented.
Mhm.
So you have to make sure that you hone your craft and you become a technician. So you want to have good technique. Another thing is effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Football is a game about effort.
Mhm.
And every snap playing as hard as you can. So those are types of things I really try and challenge myself
Okay.
on all the time. And then there's also the numbers. How many tackles I want to get, how many
Yeah.
sacks I want to get in a season,
Mhm.
and and so you always got to set those goals for yourself coming into the season. I want to get this many tackles, I want to get this many sacks, um, and then strive for them. Gives you something to you know quantitatively chase after, something that you can measure and go after every single day.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Obviously I did some research
Ooh.
beforehand. It's all good.
Mhm.
And was just looking at your rookie season. You had 18 tackles and one and a half
Mhm.
sacks with the with the Saints, and then
Mhm.
going as your first season with the Falcons, you had a career high of 55 tackles and one sack. Like, what's the
Mhm.
what was the difference in from rookie season to that season that you were with the Falcons?
Man, I definitely feel like I've grown a lot since then,
Yeah.
as a person and a player. But I feel like as a rookie, you sometimes you get kind of caught up in, I need to do my job. I need to do, make sure I don't mess up type of a mind frame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And last year was my fifth year in the NFL, and it was a lot more of, obviously I need to do my job and play my role in our team and in our defense. But it's also, um, transitions a little bit to more of, how can I make the play? How can I, do my job and then also find ways to, go even beyond that and make the play
Yeah.
as many times as I can. So that was a little bit more of the mind frame that I had coming into last year and this year as well is yeah, I'm do my responsibility, of course, but I'm gonna try and go beyond that. And if I know what a play is, I'm gonna try and make it. Um, and that goes into it too. Like as a rookie, I may not know what play is coming. Half the time, three-quarters of the time. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
Are they gonna run a stretch play to my right, or are they gonna
Yeah.
pass the ball? They're gonna run a power play. But nowadays, I feel like I have a lot. Um, a lot better of a read of what the offense is going to do, what the O line is going to do,
Yeah.
and a lot more confidence to trust myself and be like, okay, this is what I think they're about to do. So, I'm gonna adjust accordingly. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yep.
And this is the type of play I think they're going to do. I think I know how I personally can stop this play. So that's what I'm going to do.
Okay. Yeah. So, what was it like going from college? Obviously, from high school to college, it's like
Mhm.
much faster, and then college to NFL was much faster, much faster. Now, did you feel that
Mhm.
when coming from college to the NFL? Like, holy crap! Like, I need to step up my game, or like, was it like, oh yeah, like I have to step up a little bit, but I can do it.
Yeah, it's definitely faster. I played at Fresno State in the Mountain West. Um, And going from there to the NFL, there's definitely a big speed increase. Size as well. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yep.
Humongous guys. Um, so there's definitely that speed increase, but as an athlete, you always have to tell yourself that, you belong here, that this is what you came to do. So it's a mixture of the two. Like I need to improve every day, when I was a young player and still now you come in saying that I need to improve, I need to get better in all the ways that I can so that I can make it in this league, but also having that feeling of I belong here and I can do it. So it's a delicate balance that you have to play between those two of really trying to improve yourself and hone your craft and also believing in yourself and knowing that you're good enough and knowing that you're where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Okay. So when you were playing at Fresno, when we first met, you
Hmm.
had said that Devonte Adams was on your team.
Yep,
And
yep.
so that's obviously my
Okay.
guy. I mean, I got the signed right here.
Yep, I see that. I
Yeah,
see that.
signed Devonte Adams jersey. Definitely did really well yesterday against the Vikings with
He
two
did.
touchdowns.
He did.
And but what? Who else was on the Fresno team that has made it into the NFL that you were teammates with at that time?
Let's see. We had Derek Carr as well,
Okay.
the quarterback, for the Raiders
Yep, for
now.
the Raiders.
He was, balling at Fresno State. Him and Devontae were quite a tandem
I
back
definitely could see
then.
that one. Yeah.
We also had a couple of other wide receivers, Isaiah Burse,
Okay.
who played for the Chargers for a while.
Yes.
And we also had Josh Harper,
Oh
who was
yes.
so we had three really good wide receivers back
I
then
do
at
remember
Fresno
Josh Harper.
State.
Josh
Yep,
Harper and
yep.
Devonte Adams definitely. I've heard their names a few times,
Mhm.
obviously. So
And Hart went and played for the Raiders, I believe,
that
for
yes.
for a little bit. And then we on defense we had Deron Smith, who was our safety, another
Okay.
baller. He
Yes.
went and he got drafted by the Browns.
Okay.
Did he get drafted by the Browns or the Bengals? He played for both those teams. I don't
Okay.
remember which one he got
Oof.
drafted
Those are
to.
two hard teams to get picked up by.
It is.
Really,
It
two
is
hard
both in
teams.
Ohio too. You didn't
Yeah.
travel very far between those two teams,
Yep. Yeah.
but he was really good. We also had one of my roommates when I first got to Fresno State was an O lineman, Cody Wickman.
Okay. Yes.
He
Yes.
played really good offensive lineman. I want to say like 6'6", 320 pounds,
Yep.
but
What? I can't remember what team he was
just
with.
muscle.
What?
He played. He got picked up as a free agent to the. I can't remember what team he got. He got picked up to the St. Louis Rams.
That's who
St.
it
Louis
was.
at the
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
he got
remember
picked
that
up to
name
the
because
Rams.
I remember that name only because for the longest time I only had like the two channels ABC and Fox and CBS to watch for the normal
Hmm.
games, and so yeah,
Yeah, we all been
and since
there.
I live in Arizona, it was always the Cardinals against whoever was playing. So that name definitely rings a bell from watching Cardinal games against St. Louis
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
So
He started for St. Louis for a little bit too,
yeah,
and then he went on to play for. Let me think. Tennessee. I know he played for a little bit, and he played with Dallas for a little bit. And I
okay,
believe he's a free agent. He beast in the middle on that
yeah,
O line. And then we had who else? Charles Washington,
okay,
who is he played for a while with Detroit, and now he's with the Cardinals.
that's right. Yep,
A defensive back, defensive back. He was a safety back there with Deron.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so we put out a good amount of guys, especially for a Mountain West
Yeah, oh,
team.
definitely. I didn't
Um,
realize how many um, people actually came from Fresno. Like I've heard Fresno a little bit, but
yeah,
like the only like major one that I could like remember besides you, obviously after I've met you, was Devonte
mm-hmm,
Adams. Like I knew where he
yep,
was from,
Tay,
kind of thing.
yep,
Um,
yep.
but shoot, I just had a
We
great.
actually we actually have a guy on our team right now that we just drafted this year
Yeah.
from Fresno State, Michael Walker.
Oh, that's right.
So
Yeah.
yep, yep. So I
Yep.
got some company on the team from Fresno State now.
Yes. Yes. So you have played both with the Saints and now with the Falcons,
Hmm.
which have two of one was is definitely going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, and the other one I believe is going to be. What is it like playing with Drew Brees and now Matt Ryan?
Yeah, man. It's playing with greatness. Legends. Playing with Drew. Drew is one of the best of all time. Some people could argue he's statistically the best of all time.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot from guys like that.
Yep.
Playing with a legend like Drew and Matt Ryan, the same thing. He's when you see his resume, what he's done and what he's accomplished in his years in the NFL, it's it's amazing. And it's a privilege to play with those types of guys.
Yeah.
So you try and really watch their habits and see what makes them great and take things from that and try and apply it to yourself.
Yeah.
So it's definitely been a blessing, I'd say, to play with those guys.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it. And then this
Mhm.
free agency, you actually signed a 3-year extension with the Falcons. And then
Mhm.
Falcons also picked up Todd Gurley, one of the best running backs in the league. What
Yep,
I didn't
yep,
even
we
I
did.
totally forgot about that until yesterday when we were watching. And they're like Todd Gurley's running. I was like, wait, but the Rams
Yeah,
aren't playing yet. Like, and it
yep.
just crossed my mind. I was like, I just couldn't believe that they had gotten rid of him at points. But like, what's it gonna be? What's it like playing with him and having him on the sidelines?
It's great. Especially as a defense, you love when your team has a solid running back because that means that they're going to eat away at the clock. They're going to run the ball. They're going to control the field position and whatnot. So and then in practice and stuff, getting ready for the season, Todd Gurley back there, playing against him. That's a great competition and great person to help get you ready. So um, definitely was a little had to let him know that I was still a little upset with him because of what happened when I played with the Saints and he
That's
was with
right.
the
Yes.
Rams.
So
I
now
had to
now
let him.
now were you
What were
with
you
the
saying?
Saints when the Vikings got the miracle throw also?
Yep, I was
Oof,
there
you had those tough
during that
losses.
one too. two
Oh,
years in a row. Two
ouch.
tough two tough losses in a
Yeah, and
row.
then wasn't it last
Um,
year again the Saints got beat out by the Rams again? Or
yeah,
yes, yeah, because it
yeah,
was like three
they
years
got beat
running.
out
So
again. Yeah, it was some kind of crazy penalty too that I believe that helped them beat the Saints. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, I feel for those guys, but I don't really feel bad for them anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
You just gotta move
but
on now.
my last season, I'd have let Todd know that I still was a little upset at him.
A little upset. I mean,
But
I would too. That.
nah, we let those things go. Now we're on the same team.
Yep. Just gotta keep going with it. So
Yeah.
with what does your like game day routine look like before COVID and then now with COVID?
So honestly, I'd say my game day routine hasn't changed a whole lot. Um, wake up in the morning, um, you know, do what I have to do at the hotel, go down, make sure my outfit is ready and looking good, look good, feel good, play good,
Yeah.
as Jerry Rice said.
Yes.
Go down, make sure you get a good breakfast in, um, and then head to the stadium. Once you get to the stadium, you gotta, there's lots of things you gotta do to make sure your body's right as far as like activation, just muscle activation type of things.
Yep.
Get with the trainers and warm up. If you have any injuries or just kind of like little nagging things,
Mhm.
make sure those things are warmed up and treated up before you get out there, and then go out onto the field before the whole team warms up, and do your own personal warm up,
Okay.
whatever you gotta personally do to feel like you're ready. And then especially position specific type of stuff I like to do during that time.
Yeah.
And then after that, just get dressed, get taped up, and get ready for the warm up.
Okay.
So really, not COVID hasn't really affected too many of those things to too much of a degree. I'd say that during that team meal before used to be a little bit more together than it is now, since
Yeah.
we have to stay a little bit more spaced out and
Yep.
whatnot. But other than that, it hasn't really changed too much
Okay.
during COVID.
Okay. And now, since you guys played on Sunday, I take it Monday is a recovery day kind of thing.
Yeah, Monday is definitely a bit of a recovery day.
Uh,
You A recovery and like a kind of review of the game,
yes.
and really take a close look at what happened in the game. Now that we're a day separated from it, the
Yeah.
emotions aren't quite as high. You could be a little bit more objective about what happened.
Yep.
Usually we go into the facility. Now we have the first thing we got to do when we get there. After that, do our team meeting. Our After that, special teams and and position meetings, defensive, offense, and then position meetings, and really watch. Take a close look at the film and see what happened. See what we did well, see what mistakes we made, and really try and be critical and you know kind of take some notes and see what you need to get ready to do for the next week, and
Yeah.
and what adjustments need to be made, what improvements need to be made, what you did well,
Yep.
and make sure you want to keep on doing. And then also on Mondays we do a little bit of a workout and
Okay.
some treatments and whatnot.
Yeah.
Always, like to get a little massage usually on Mondays as well.
Okay.
Kind of get some of that lactic acid out of there and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yep.
So, it's a recovery day.
Mhm.
And then afterwards, today, for example, I went to there's a doctor that I see here in Atlanta, does chiropractor work, acupuncture work,
Okay.
normal type of just normal Western medicine, I guess you would call it, work. I go and see him on Mondays as well.
Yeah.
And then, finally come home and just, relax. But yeah, man, big recovery day on Monday for sure. Tuesday as well. Tuesday's our day off. So
Okay.
Tuesday, I tried to really, not have too much on this. We good?
Yeah. Yeah. We're all good.
All right, all right. But yeah, Tuesday I really try and make sure I don't have nothing going on, and
Okay.
take a good day, for myself, and hang out with my girl and whatnot, and
Yep.
usually family would be here and whatnot too,
Uh huh.
but obviously we can't have that this year.
Yeah.
So, and then maybe Tuesday night start watching film and getting ready for the next week.
Getting ready for next week. That sounds good. So with next week, you guys actually have the Dallas Cowboys. And now, are you guys home or away? I can't really remember exactly.
This week we're away.
Away. Okay. So what will that look like for going away and having to deal with the restrictions of COVID?
So, from my understanding, we're going to, fly over there and check into our hotel like normal. But what's different is we can't, usually we're allowed to, have people down in the lobby if there's anybody visiting us or
Yeah.
come into those away games. Usually we can see them in the lobby and stuff. But this week, this year, I guess, we're not allowed to have that. We're
Yep.
basically on lockdown,
Yep.
um, or lock in. They're locking us in. Nobody can come in. Nobody
Yeah.
can really go out.
Yep.
And then, there's also, depending on what stadium you go to, there's, whether there's fans or not, really nobody's going to be there.
Mhm.
I do believe that the Cowboys are allowing a certain amount of fans.
I do believe that too.
So
Yep.
I think some people are going to be able to get some visitors in there, get some
Yes.
tickets for their people. But most people probably aren't.
Mhm.
And with a lot of people not really wanting to fly and stuff right now as well,
Yeah.
it makes it a little bit more difficult, for your loved ones and your family and everybody
Yep.
else to come to these away games. And then I also believe that, because after the games we have like a little area for friends and family to come see us after the games, and I believe we're not having that this
Okay.
year. Just trying to keep the team
Yep.
safe and everybody separated and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So with that, I did take a quick look at your guys' schedule. And I did see
Hmm.
that you guys will be playing the Packers in Lambeau.
In Lambeau,
In
yep.
Lambeau, and I believe it's November. I can't remember exactly. I just know it's in a few weeks. It's not like too
It's
far
either
off.
October. I think it's October or November, one of the
Yeah,
two.
I know it's one of those, but I just
First half of the season for sure.
yes, and because I was looking at the Packers schedule and it was weird because we go Saints, Falcons, Tampa Bay, and then in like 2 or 3 games we play the Panthers. I don't think we've ever had a
Dang.
season where like we've actually played the whole NFC South teams. Like that's just weird to
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. NFC South almost all right in a row too.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, I'm pretty sure the way that they like make the schedule for a lot of for most teams, or I'm pretty sure every year for every team, is that most conferences, for example, the NFC North this year
yeah,
plays all the teams from the NFC South.
yep,
And, for example, sometimes it'll be the AFC West.
mhm,
We'll play, all those teams in the AFC West will play all the teams from the AFC East or something like that.
yeah,
And so they switch it up. It's not like you're playing those teams every year, obviously, because they're not in your
yep,
conference. But they switch it up, um, and they like kind of have it where those conferences kind of go against each other that year.
okay,
So I can't remember. I think there might have been one other year, maybe like 3 years ago or so,
okay,
where NFC South might have played
yeah,
NFC North,
mhm,
or it might have just been when I was with the Saints that we played all NFC North teams that year.
okay, yeah,
But yeah, it is a little weird, especially having them all right in a row.
yeah. That
And I think
was
we have a bit of a similar deal where we play the NFC North teams all pretty
okay,
close to each other too. The
okay,
Bears, Detroit, Vikings,
huh,
and Green Bay. I think there might be a couple weeks separated in between
yeah, yeah.
one or
No,
one or two of them, but
yeah, no. Panthers are like 2 weeks, but otherwise it's like back to back to back, and I think
yeah,
like we have like
yeah.
one home and then the rest of them are away. So obviously like Atlanta we're home and then I think it's like away for
Mhm.
Tampa and away for New Orleans. So I'm like, oh my lord, like
Mhm.
it's gonna be a tough
Yeah,
schedule. But
it is. Lambeau's gonna be a cool place for us to go play at too.
yeah,
It'll be a little bit different without all those cheeseheads out
oh I
there,
know,
but
yes, definitely gonna be a
but
different
it's
different
a
vibe.
it's a cool stadium to go and play at. Like a very historic stadium.
Yes,
They got some slippery grass though,
they
but
do, they
and
do.
it can get cold. It can get cold, but other than that, it's a cool stadium to go and play
Yes. So now, speaking of the NFC South division, you guys just got a
at.
not you guys, but Tampa Bay just picked up a all-time great, basically. What's it
Hmm.
going to be like having to verse Tom Brady twice a year?
It's gonna be. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. I've got to get him. At least one or two times.
Yeah.
So it's cool going up against guys like that. I played him when he was with New England, so it'll definitely be a little bit different than then. But I'm excited for it. I like the challenge, and it's always cool to go against guys like that.
Yeah. Now, what would be like the team that you guys are going to be playing this year that you like are excited for to play against? Or do you think it's
That's a
going to be
good
like your
question.
or is like going to be like your hardest competition this season?
That's a good question. I'd probably have to go with the Saints. I used to play against. I mean, I used to play with them. Um, they're our division rival, and they're a good team. So that's always one of the games that's circled on the calendar
Yeah.
every year. And we play them twice too.
Yes.
And we went 1-1 with them last year.
Okay.
Um, we gotta make
Yep.
it 2-0 this
Got to
year.
make it 2-0. Yep. I definitely
Knock
feel
knock on
that.
wood. But that's definitely one. Um, the Vikings and Green Bay, I'd say, are the other two. The Vikings, I'd say because I used to be a Vikings fan back when I was a
Oof.
kid.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's a hard one.
So it's always cool to like, play against a team you used to root for back in the day.
Yes, yes. So what would be like somebody that you have to line up against that you're like he's gonna be a hard one to like beat? Because like I can think of a few, but like what's one that you've had like one person that like stands out to you of going across from them?
I'd say there's a few of them. I would say that Marshall Yonda back in the day, before he retired, always used to be one of those guys. He's a guy I always had a lot of respect for. He was, a beast in the middle and there at guard with Baltimore. Um, I would say that who we just played actually with the Seahawks. I can't remember his name right now. The big number 70 in there. Can't remember his name right now, but big Polynesian dude
Yeah,
who's he's I don't know how many times he got to the Pro Bowl, but he's a really good player in there. And then next week we've got um, Zach Martin
okay,
in there at guard.
yeah,
He's a good player too. I'd say Alex Mack too, who I line up against at practice all the time. Very highly touted center
yeah,
who I used to play against all the time when I was with the Saints.
yep,
He's a very good player as well. So there's a few of those guys, but as a D lineman, you also always have that mentality that no matter who you're lining up against, you're gonna beat them. So
yes, yeah,
there's
that's
always that
you
mentality
have to have
too.
that
But
mentality, yeah.
hmm
So with next game, obviously, I know I keep going back and forth about different stuff, but you
hmm
actually are playing Dallas, and then
hmm
Dallas has a phenomenal run game with Ezekiel
they
Elliott
do.
because
They
you
do.
think you got him, and then all of a sudden it takes five more people to take him down instead of just that one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how are you planning or going to try to plan to like stop him?
Well, shoot, I'm excited for the run
Oh,
game.
I
So
bet you are.
so that's something that I'm gonna be ready for. Just watching, I watched some of their game last night. I'm obviously gonna, look at the film and dissect it. Even though they like to run that stretch play, and I know they like to try and be physical and run inside
Yeah,
what we call crunch plays as well, where they try and just mash people backwards and push
yeah,
people back. So, with that being said, we've played many teams that run those same exact plays. There's only so many plays in the league, that people can run, especially running plays.
yeah.
So, there's a tried and true formula to stop those plays.
Mhm.
Everybody across the board being sound on their gaps and playing as hard as they can, and then like I was saying earlier, not only doing your job but trying to go above and beyond it. Not so much so that you're neglecting your job, but enough to where you're helping your teammates really, really, playing as hard as you can.
Yep.
So I think we'll be ready for him. I
That
think we'll be ready for him. I
yes.
think we'll be stout in there against that run.
Yeah. So with speaking about running backs, Tampa Bay
Mhm.
has Leonard Fournette and LaShawn McCoy, and then
Mhm.
uh, Saints obviously have Elvin Kamara, and then I'm
Mhm.
drawing a blank on. Oh, Panthers have Christian McCaffrey.
Mhm.
Which one of those do you actually like? Which one of those guys do you actually look forward to in playing? Because they're all great running backs.
Yeah, they are. I personally, it's a hard one to say. I I think I like going against Christian McCaffrey. Just because I've gone against him a lot of times,
Okay.
and I'm sure they're gonna, have some different stuff for us this year since
Yeah.
it's a new coaching staff and whatnot. But I just feel very familiar with their schemes
Yes.
and the way that he runs, and I know they're gonna feed him a lot,
Yes.
and it's gonna be only him.
Yep.
They don't really have much of a second back that they try and rely on.
Mhm.
It's that's most of their offense.
Yeah.
So I feel like when we go against a guy like that, we can really wear him down and get after him, and it's a guy that we know too. So
Yeah.
I'm sure he has the same mentality that he likes to wear down the defense and whatnot.
Yes. Definitely.
But I like going against him. Um, he's a really good back, obviously. I've got a lot of respect for him, but
Yeah.
he's a good one to go against.
So now with you were on the Saints, and I believe you were on the Saints when Teddy Bridgewater was there, right? So now
Yep.
he's the
I was there
starting
with Teddy.
and now he's the starting quarterback of Carolina. If yes,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yep.
what is that going to be like since you guys were teammates and then now he's got the starting job over at Carolina?
I'm really happy for him, to be honest with you. He deserves it. He came in when Drew broke his thumb, I think it
Yep.
was last year,
Yes,
and he did really
he
well.
did
He did
really
really
well.
well.
A lot of people didn't
And
think he was going to do so well, and he did well.
yeah, yeah, and he did well when he was with the Vikings way back when.
He did. He did.
Um, so I'm glad that he got that second chance,
Yes.
and I think he's gonna take it and run with it. I don't know exactly how he did last week, um, but I'm pretty sure from what I remember, it was a pretty solid game. I think they ran the ball a lot too, but yeah, I'm happy for Teddy. But I'm gonna be coming after him too, so
Yes.
he
Yes.
better be ready.
Yes, I am actually looking up real quick how well they did. So they did lose to the Raiders, 34
Mhm.
to 30, but
Mhm.
Teddy Bridgewater went 22 for 34 and 270 yards and one touchdown. So
Yeah.
being a
It's a
starter, that's
solid
not bad.
game. It's
Yeah,
not like
solid game.
yeah, it's a solid game. It's not like something that ESPN's gonna be going crazy about right now,
But it's
but
just yeah,
it's still a solid game, especially a team like with team like Carolina who likes to run the ball a lot.
yes,
I don't know how many rushing attempts McCaffrey had or how much they had in general, but
yeah.
I'm pretty sure they had a lot.
Let me see. Yeah, I have it right here. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey had 23 carries for 96 yards and two touchdowns.
Yeah, that's a lot for one back.
It really is. Yep.
Um,
And speaking of Teddy
but
Bridgewater, he had four carries for 26 yards.
okay, okay, Teddy.
Yeah, I'm glad to see he's running and isn't like overly scared to run still with his leg. And
Mhm.
I'm just
He's
glad
a he's a he's a sneaky athlete.
he
He's a
really
sneaky
is.
athlete.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I
I'm
remember
not
when
surprised.
Saints picked him up after he had obviously broke his leg and everybody thought he should have gotten amputated or whatnot. And then he came back
Mhm.
to stun everybody and like obviously as you said, he started for Drew Brees when he broke his thumb, and I believe he went
Mhm.
5-0 that for the time he was in. He went 5-0, and
Yeah, he did.
then
He
Drew Brees
did.
came
I'm
back
pretty
in.
sure.
So yeah, I'm glad for him. He definitely deserves a second chance, and he was
Me
definitely a
too.
good
Me
back.
too. I'm happy for him.
He was definitely a good quarterback. I'm just glad he's not with Minnesota anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm
Yeah,
sure. I'm sure.
but
But yeah, I'm happy for him.
yep,
But I'm gonna try and get him though.
yeah, I definitely feel that one. Definitely feel that one. Well, I don't have any more questions, so thank you so much for taking the
Nice.
time
Of
and
course. Of course.
doing this, and I
Yeah,
definitely
man. This
appreciate
is
it.
great. This
Definitely
is great, man.
appreciate it.